Hey guys, Shill YouTuber here. You know, people don't like the newer stuff. They prefer Bungie, stuck in the past, am I right? But they ignore the rich lore, Let's start with the books first. There's a fan of ODST who made an ODST book. And you can't just ignore this. He looked so hard and had went through so much to get as right to ODST as possible. Like Mickey being a villain. And Rookie, who took out tons and tons and tons of enemies alone, died by some random rebel person. That's writing. The person said he was such a fan and, trying to make it as good as possible. Don't you guys remember Mickey being a horrible person and betraying the team in ODST? Do you remember the signs of him, not being a loyal, great friend who was cool and funny and comedic? Instead, he's a traitor. And it's such rich lore, more lore is better than, less lore that Bungie had because you're expanding the universe. Like how you bring the Didact back who you actually didn't die in 4, but died in this book instead. That barely anyone would read, and the only way people would actually get the lore for all these newer games and to actually read all these books to find all these cool lore would be in hundreds, possibly thousands of bucks. What are you guys, poor or something? Can't afford a Switch 2? Don't get me started on people complaining about how, three's great, story basically being remade like 2 or 3 times in the books. Come on, it's cool, Having Spartan 3s for some reason, even though they all are almost, if not every single one of them, died on Reach in the Bungie era. Spartan 4s are the best Spartans. The game writers. People don't like them. People say they don't care about the lore. They're ruining the lore. They're ruining Halo. They don't like Halo. Why would you accuse them of that? It's not like Microsoft bragged about hiring people who hated Halo or anything. Hating games with guns. Just ignore that stuff. Just play the games. They're so cool. Remember how Microsoft had Infinite bring the old roots back? Don't you remember grappling hooks in Combat Evolved, sliding mechanic in 2, sprinting in 3, guns you don't even recognize, the Banished that failed to beat one UNSC ship but managed to somehow destroy the same people who fought so long in the previous games, and the whole point of finishing the fight was to, save humanity and save the UNSC. Well, guess what? The UNSC are done by the Banished. Great lore, right? But you guys complain. Of course you guys complain about the thing. Banished. The Banished are cool. Look at the Brutes. Great style. Great old roots, guys. Just like 3. You guys want to complain. What's this? You found out that most of the main people who worked on the games said the Foreigners were humans? You're gonna ignore the dad of Halo, Paul Russell, saying how the terminals proved they were separate? What's this? You're showing a newer tweet compared to the other ones, where he found out by talking to one of the terminal writers that the Foreigners are humans? Humans are Forerunners? Well, I'm gonna ignore that. So, Bungie intended the Foreigners to be separate. You guys, at least until 3. Let's ignore Guilty Spark, because 3 is where they actually weren't the same. Pretty obvious. I just want to focus on the new lore. What's this? You're saying it ruins the lore of the original games? Well, I don't care about Bungie Halo anymore. I just want to play the games. I want to be a fan of the newest Halos. Paying for $30 colors. I don't want to have the customization back from Bungie. I don't like it when people complain about the colors being expensive and less customization than even 3. You guys should just continue with what I'm doing. Don't care about Bungie.